So this is the first conversation I've ever had about it properly. I've never spoken to anyone properly about it. I was starting to develop an addiction to cocaine. Listen, I've had some horrific relapses. Now you're gonna fucking run. It's mad, where it makes me feel really disgusting, actually.
What are some of the worst situations you've been in because of your drug habit?
Me and my mum and dad were held at gunpoint. Peace of mind, that's one of the worst things I've stolen from people that I love dearly. If she hadn't have moved on, I'd still be in that same situation. I open his jacket like that and pull out a gun.
Run him over?
When I'm using gear, I turn into this absolute monster. Prison saves me. If I don't get this right in these next couple of years, everyone is going to remember me as Cocaine Nathan.
Nathan.
Hannah.
Welcome to Class A FIFA.
Thank you very much for having me.
So this is how it begins. 4 years ago, I messaged you on Instagram.
You did?
You just started out your sort of social media journey with sobriety.
I'd just come out of rehab.
And I was on the back of a fat come down.
Yeah.
And I messaged you, bleeding for help. We tried to find the messages, but you don't have the Instagram account anymore.
I don't. The Instagram account sadly was banned actually.
Oh.
Shall I tell you why? It's
go
really
on.
interesting. It's not actually, it's an absolute ball ache. I was reported for being nude, playing a guitar live on TikTok, and at the time, my Instagram was linked to my TikTok.
Right.
And so they banned me from going live on TikTok. Still to this day, I can't go live, and completely deleted the Instagram account.
You know what I found wild about that? Okay, some things that have kept me sober is going on TikTok live and on a Friday or a Saturday night when I can't sleep and seeing what goes on. Okay.
I wasn't actually nude though. I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Just a guitar covering.
No, I wasn't. I didn't even have a guitar.
Oh.
I wasn't. There was nothing to do with that. It was just trolls on there, and I had it for years and years, as you'll know. People on there just putting in their throat, making little stories
Keyboard
up just
warriors.
to get keyboard warriors. There we go. Down with the kids. Just trying to cause problems for you.
Why did you decide to get onto social media straight away after rehab?
Right. So my background has been entertainment.
Yeah.
So for the last 23, 24 years, I've pretty much lived my life on a stage, whether it be hosting, comparing, singing, some form of performance. And I always wanted to go, I was heading towards TV, always wanted to go down the TV presenting route. I love being, this is going to sound really, really vain, and I don't mean it like that, but I don't know how else to word it, the centre of attention.
Yeah.
I've always been
I think
a
it's
people
actually that you like
pleaser.
making people laugh.
I love people pleasing.
Yeah.
So I love people pleasing. I love people, like the praise. I love being able to be able to give that to people. And the next best thing was, okay, let's start doing some stuff on social media. And within the first week, like it blew up, and that just almost fed my ego, I suppose, almost in a way. I've always been very honest and open with everything that I've done. But it was really boosting my confidence and really helping me push my social media.
Validates.
Yeah.
Also, you were like one of the first ones, I would say, with the sobriety stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
back when you started doing it, it was more like, that was when people like gym influencers were coming in.
I think there was actually, at the time, there was only 3 or 4 of us on the app that were doing it. That was sort of like, that's my claim to fame now, actually, almost. I like that.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, but before that, we're going to go back because I like to start with childhood. You are obviously done, a fair bit of clean time with a few relapses in between. So we got a lot we can learn from you.
Absolutely.
So first of all, what was childhood like for you?
Right, so childhood was incredible. I cannot fault it whatsoever. I have a very loving, caring family. I've got 3 younger sisters, a very supportive mum and dad. They always encouraged everything that I wanted to do, and same with my sisters as well.
Common misconception, isn't it? Like, drug addicts.
Come from trauma, or some sort of, absolutely.
Or it's just that we didn't know what trauma was.
Well, I learned something quite recently, actually, that I was sat in the garden at my parents' house, and my mum said, "Nay, I think I've worked out why there's been many problems for you." So, I was a very well-behaved baby. Right, and I used to get a lot of praise from whether it be relatives, family, from family, friends, or relatives. Oh, he's such a good baby and all this sort of stuff. I wasn't a problem at all.
Not a crier.
Not a crier.
Slept
very
through the
well
night.
behaved. Slept through. Yeah, I was really well behaved.
That changed.
And that changed hugely. And then I got into from a young age got into modelling. So I had all that praise, that side again there. I then went into, started doing performing arts, so dance, acting and singing. Turns out I was quite good at that as well. A lot of praise. I then went into entertainment, all this, praise. Then it stopped. Can I swear?
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
Like, it went...
I suppose you've never known to not be good at something and fail or be praised
Absolutely,
for it.
and when I wasn't getting the praise, I couldn't cope with that. Like I just didn't it didn't feel right. It felt really, really. It made me very depressed and very lonely, and I didn't know. And those feelings, it just the dopamine, everything just went. I had nothing left, and then obviously found cocaine.
So, did you have a gateway with alcohol first before that?
No, alcohol was never a problem for me.
No.
The reason why I started using was because I couldn't handle alcohol.
Yeah, that's a big thing for a
Right.
lot of people.
So
yeah.
and I couldn't keep up with my mates. I couldn't keep up the drinking. I felt terrible. Obviously, alcohol is obviously a depressant. And then I used to have just a little bit of someone else's gear, and then I'd be like, oh, hang on a minute, I'll have another drink now. Then have another little bit of that, and that's how it all started for me. Yeah.
Progression.
Yeah.
Big one we talk about.
Yeah.
For me, it was very quick. As soon as I met that drug in particular, I don't know if you've done other.
No, I was never interested in any other drug.
Yeah.
Hated everything. Didn't trust any other drug, which is mental.
Yeah, the insanity that
It is absolute chaos. It is.
It's mad. Like, I think of some of the stuff that I normalised, like, I'm a safer driver if I've done 5 lines of gear.
Yeah.
And I would say to myself, I'd never drink drive. But prior to those 5 lines, I would have had a skinful.
Yeah.
But that's not drink driving because now
because you've introduced
Do you know
cocaine
what I
into
mean?
it.
It's like
insanity, complete
madness.
insanity.
So how old were you when you...
18.
Okay.
18 when I first started.
So, but then you're drinking and using.
I was drinking and using
But
then, yeah.
But it's serving that purpose of sobering you up. Really.
Absolutely. So that was, I'd done that for about 2 or 3 years. And I was recreationally using. It wasn't a problem. People knew I was doing it, no worries, no problem at all.
And everyone else was doing it.
And everyone else was doing it as well. It was quite fashionable then as well, as in it wasn't as readily available as what it is now. It was very different gear as well then.
Yeah.
So...
And what were you doing at 18? Job?
I just started my performing arts degree.
Okay.
So again, it was very stagey, very showy. I was going to a lot of big, named parties, knocking around with big names. People that I was sort of working my way into the industry, and these people have already made it. They're working
also,
a lot less.
When we're that age and you're like, no matter what age you are, until you sort of get older, people who are older than you and impressionable and in the industry that you want to be in and further up the scale than you,
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
always trying to want to
look up to it.
Of course you do.
Looking up to them and
Doing
fitting
what
in. You
they're
want to try to
doing.
trying to please them. Yeah, do you want to come and do this? Yeah, no. Little did they know that actually I was starting to develop an addiction to cocaine.
How quickly did it form for you in terms of it going from, like, when you're saying doing it with friends and trying to sober up to then, I'm guessing, moving into doing it on your own, more of, yeah.
Literally just couldn't even.
You found your thing.
I couldn't. I never ever used for work. I never used to go on stage. I always used to use to cut when I used to come off. So the natural high that I used to get from performing and making people smile and the applause and all that was plenty for me.
Yeah.
It's when I used to come off. So come off stage and I'd go.
That's so interesting, because that comes back to like what you're saying in your childhood, which is that, you will always praise, and then when you're got
Yeah,
nothing
and I don't know
there,
what else. Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're alone within your own self and there's no one there to be.
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely,
what am I
absolutely.
doing? But then also learning who you are, because your stage presence is obviously amplified, like most people's are when they go in front of people.
Yeah.
And exaggerated, and then it's like, did you know who Nathan was outside of
and
that?
this is, this is really interesting as well, Hannah, because like still to this day, I remember what it was like to be happy, and I almost now do an impression of that.
Yeah, masking.
Masking, absolutely, yeah. And I still do that now. I don't think I'll ever not do that.
Yeah, I do.
I spent many years with this mask on and being the life and soul and the performer and stuff like that. I don't know how to be anyone else because from a young age it's always been. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying look at me on the. That's not what I mean at all. very low level entertainment I'm talking, but it was enough. It was enough to grab me.
When you find yourself when you are having low days, do you find that you're only comfortable being like that with yourself? You don't feel comfortable kind of like being upset or low or not being this, because you've given, like, even friends, for me, for example, it's like, I feel like they have an expectation of the Hannah that they want to see.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I maybe...
And they say, what's wrong? Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, and you're like, I've just been quiet today. It's like, well, you're never quiet.
Yeah.
But actually, you are fine.
See, I don't get that. The thing is, with me, over the years, I've lost a lot of people in my life because of my behaviours within active addiction. So people don't actually, I don't think people really care actually anymore about what I'm doing or how I am, which is fine. It's understandable. I can't change someone else's resentment. I can't change that at all. All I can do is apologise for my wrongdoings in my past and move forward. If that is accepted, then fantastic, we can move forward. If not, then sadly you have to be removed from my life, because I can't let myself go. I can't let someone else bring me down, because I will fall back into.
I suppose a lot of your stuff as well will depend on, it works both ways, like people's perception of you. And I think we want that instant gratification of like, well, I've said I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if they're not willing to move on, you're like.
See, I never done anything wrong over the years. It was always my ex's fault. It was always my family's fault. It was always my friends. It's never my fault. Do you know what I mean? And obviously until you come to that realisation that actually, it's actually all my fault. It was like all of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's quite overwhelming, that.
Yeah.
Because you go through stages, I think, where, when you first go into recovery or when you're thinking about it, you're either quite victim or you just don't even know what you are because you're such a shell because you've been fucking caning it for so long. Yeah. You don't even know what to feel.
You feel empty, yeah. You just...
Numb.
Numb, yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely the right word.
And then you start maybe doing some work on yourself, some therapy, some steps, whatever it is, and then you start to get resentful of your childhood and like, why was I put on the stage at a young age? Why was I not? Or, me, why did I get put to boarding school at 13? Like, I didn't make that choice. Yeah. You chose to have me. Why did you send me off to school? Yeah. And it's like, and then you have to bring it back round and think, but I got to an age where I knew what I was doing was wrong. At some point there has to be some sort of, you have to own it, and at some point it is a choice. The very beginning, the very beginning is a choice. But no one starts taking it thinking that they're going to be an addict.
Absolutely, no one.
And the other thing that people say is like, oh, addiction isn't a choice. Well, I believe it is an illness and it's a disease of the mind.
Yep.
But you can choose to stop it. You can. Yep. People, I'm sure both of us have sat here before and been like, I can't choose, I'm addicted. You can't choose to be given cancer, for example. So if we're talking about different, there's a choice in terms of.
You can choose to get treatment. You can choose to get treatment. Listen, it's not gonna. It doesn't feel nice. It doesn't. And coming to terms with the fact that you're an addict until that's a really hard pill to swallow. Like, no pun intended. No pun intended there at all, guys.
It's okay. Usually we get someone that goes, there's a really fine line between.
Yeah. Fine lines are the worst. Anyway.
We never did fine lines.
No, it's it's a bitter one.
Okay, so so 18, starting the performing arts degree, and that's when you're kind of getting into it, but it's quick.
Yeah.
When is it becoming problematic in the sense that maybe it's affecting work, relationships?
By the time I finished my performing arts degree.
Did you get that?
I was, yeah. So by the time I finished 3 years, I was hooked. That had me then. And I couldn't wait to get away from people. To be on my own to finish off my 8 ball and all that. Yeah.
So where was the next where does the next part of your life then begin?
So I worked on 2 shows.
Yeah.
So 7 Brides for 7 Brothers and Little Shop of Horrors. I worked on that and then wanted to go down the TV route. I'd done a few TV jobs throughout that time whilst I was studying, and then wanted to go down the TV presenting route. So I started doing castings for TV jobs, and then my father was worked in entertainment for a long time as well, and he said, no, you need to get on the parks to get your comparing and your hosting up to scratch. So I got my first job in North Devon in a place called Woolacombe, and I was there for 4 years, and I stayed on the holiday parks for about 17 years.
Did you feel a need to kind of live up to your dad, because obviously he'd been in the industry?
No, I mean, I was always, entertainment was always me anyway. It was obviously I got the music side and the entertainment side through my dad, but it was I was never pressured into going into it. It was just, everything just fitted naturally, and I loved doing it.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like I was doing a day's work ever.
What was your relationship like with your mum and dad?
Great, it was lovely, yeah.
Even now, looking back, there's no things that you kind of think were...
They done absolutely everything for me.
Well, I always say that they do the best they can with the tools they have. Like, obviously,
listen, it's their first time too.
Yeah,
there's
I
no
say
rule
that.
book.
And also, like, your parents were not mum and dad before they had you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? They had their own names.
Yeah.
They had their own lives.
Yeah.
And like, this is their first time. Are you the eldest?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the same? So it's their first time doing it as well. They're
Yeah.
just a bit further down the line than you.
Absolutely, yeah. It's their first time. There was this really great saying I see not too long ago actually on social media, and that was remember it's your mum's first time at life too. And that's really, I always touched a thing with me. I always give me a little tear to the eye there. My nose went a little bit then as well. So I was going to have a little tear. But yeah, no, it's I think it's really important to remember that as well. I think we need to remember that, and things that I've done over the years to them are completely unforgivable in active addiction.
Come on then, let's get into some of the nitty gritty.
Just want to know.
Well, we might give you a little break because you're looking a bit sad.
No, I'm fine. I'm good.
You okay?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. I'm guessing at the parks.
Rife.
Yeah.
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 Well then, right. So listen, I've never been a woman not a womanizer, that's the wrong word. I think people have always got, when I was at school, people got the wrong impression of me. They thought that I was like this with the girls and all this sort of stuff. Never have been. Never been one for one night stands. Been in a handful of relationships. I'm all or nothing person.
Yeah.
If I'm with someone, they've got absolutely everything, right, from me, okay? So when I got on the parks, I was single, obviously, and there was, I don't know how else to word this, but there was women sort of,
throwing themselves at you.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Sorry, well, I don't know about
Well, you're the entertainment part of the park.
Of course, yeah. They think, they think you're this. They
Especially
sort
if
of
you're
look up
doing
to you and
Robbie
stuff like
Williams
that.
tribute.
Robbie Williams tribute stuff. Yes, exactly. So, so then I sort of got lucky with a few people, and that was quite appealing to me as well, because I'd never had that before. I wasn't really too bothered about it, but yeah, and then I got over that. Got over the diseases and all that. No, I'm joking. There was never any diseases.
Did that fill a void for you though as well? It's so funny sometimes with these topics. Like, I think everyone thinks that everyone falls under the same umbrella. I was exactly the same. Lots of people who have coke addictions, have sex addictions. Me personally, I didn't, because I was so fucking insecure.
Yeah.
I wasn't all or nothing as well. So it was, one relationship and all in.
Yeah.
But, very obsessed, kind of like you very loyal, very overprotective, struggled with jealousy.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
If I didn't get the same back as what I gave, that was always really difficult.
That was a problem, really difficult to deal with.
I couldn't really understand.
Never understand it.
No.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't reciprocated, the level of loyalty, or, liking pictures on Instagram, whatever it was, it was never on the same level. And I think that when I look back on that stuff now, I'm like, well, it's the insecurity of myself. Now, don't get me wrong, I was not with the best of the best.
Yeah.
They would tell me like, oh, well, it's a you problem. It's boundaries, I think a lot of us struggle with boundaries.
Yeah.
But I think it's important not to put every single, especially men who I've spoken to on here who have had issues with cocaine, there has been a lot of infidelity or sex addiction, but it's not the same for everyone.
No.
Porn, on the other hand, I don't know if you...
My thing was when I'm not with someone, it doesn't bother me. When I'm with someone, it's quite a big thing for me. Don't get me wrong, it's not like rapey. I don't mean like that, but it's just like it just means it means quite a bit to me actually. When I'm in a relationship with someone, I don't actively look for it. Like now I'm single, I don't bother going on to the, looking on dating websites and all that. That's a lie. Actually, I do that. That's a complete lie.
That's such a perfect example of someone in recovery.
However,
because you're so used to lying, and then you go, "Oh, sorry, I'm such a lie. I do that."
This is exactly what I do every day. No, I do go. I'm on dating websites, but I don't. It doesn't bother me that I'm not I'm not.
Yeah, you're not actively seeking it out.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, did you get then into a serious relationship eventually?
Yeah. So eventually I got, I met someone when I had a contract in Norfolk, in a place called Hemsby near Great Yarmouth, and met my wife to be. Not my wife to be now, but she was going to be my wife.
Okay. This is sort of now the part of the story where I remember.
Yeah, so this is now, when I first got with my ex, we spent 5 years working together in Hemsby and Norfolk, and then on the cruise ships.
Mm-hmm.
And then we settled down in a place called Wroxham in Norfolk, near Norwich. And then addiction, because I'd sort of, drugs, again, still, cocaine wasn't a huge thing because I'd sort of slowed down with it. I managed to sort
Probably
of...
because you met her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I had my focus was elsewhere.
And we convince ourselves,
actually, it's not. I'm fine. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I don't need help. Yeah, but then even if it was only say once every couple of weeks or whatever, it was an 8 ball a quarter, and then I just couldn't stop. Like, and it was always she was like, she'd do it as well occasionally with me, but she'd put it down.
Yeah. You do.
I could never put it down. Like, I still to this day don't understand how people can get a .4, .5. Do a little bit and then put it on top of the cupboard till next week.
Well,
how the fuck have you done that? If I was in
the house, there's no way because I would still steal
what?
it.
Yeah. Well, why? How have you done that? Same as what people don't understand. Why? How are you sniffing so much gear?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, a lot of people would say to me like, especially if I was getting on with guys and things like that, they'd be like, "You get on it a lot for a girl." I'd be like, "No." The problem is like it's a inability to be able to stop.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, look at me, I can do loads.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Like,
I need. Yeah. This isn't. Yeah. Not showing off.
No, never. No. Actually, to the point where then I would just do it on my own because I wouldn't have the fucking judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you get to that point, get to that stage where you can't actually physically speak. Yeah. And then it's just it's really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like
hideous. I was speaking about this to a guest before, just about the progression on how it's so mad with coke because like it offers everything that feeds the insecurities that you don't even know you have, right? Because like you're the life and soul, and like it's but you realise when you come out of it, like, my God, I thought I was confident. I had nothing.
Doesn't do anything. It makes you. All it does is just like you say. It's a false sense of security. Like I remember when my mum's mum passed away about 15 years ago. And my uncle, one of my uncles, my Uncle Gary, lived in a place outside Cambridge called Sawston. And I picked up in Cambridge, went round to my uncle's house, and I kept on going upstairs to the bathroom sniffing gear. Coming back down, and Gary's here, he said to me, "No," he said, "I know what you're doing." Excuse me. He said, "I know what you're doing, just do it here." He said, "Just don't keep on going upstairs, just do it on the thing." So anyway, so I was doing it, and he said, "I want to ask you something." He said, "Why do you do it?" So, and I said, right, okay, so just listen, look at me now, And I've done a line. I went, look how much different it makes me. Like that, he went, you're no different. Nothing has changed. It's all psychological. All psychological.
I was the same, and I would say though, at the beginning when I was doing it, I definitely thought that, and then by the end I was like, look, I would find myself like crying whilst doing it, looking at myself in the mirror for a prolonged moment of time, being like, who are you? Fuck are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
I don't know this person anymore. And like, what is good about something to do with social media, and I don't know if you had this, but like, I go back, I started that channel when I was 3 months sober. I thought I was well. I look back on those videos. You watch my personality come back, or like you meet yourself, but you don't think that something that's supposed to stimulate you and amplify you is going to strip you so much of everything. Like you're a funny guy, right? Like you're funny, like a people pleaser, like a crowd guy. Yeah. I bet by the end it was like,
oh, it's nothing. It was a shell of a person. Yeah. No one I would never recognise myself. My family still say now, like you didn't recognise me anymore. It just wasn't me. I completely lost myself, and that's the worst thing. I lost everything to addiction. I lost everything to cocaine. The worst thing is I completely lost myself, and the best thing now is the fact that I've got myself back. Still battle, but I've got myself back.
Do you still battle?
Still battle, yeah. Yeah, every single day I battle. Yeah.
How do you sort of...
I'm keeping myself very busy at the minute. Yeah. Very, very busy.
I think the cross-addiction thing's fascinating.
I think, when I was in clinic, we were told about cross addiction and the fact that it's not a good thing. A lot of people go to the gym and all this sort of stuff.
But the gym thing is such a popular one. Sorry. But I watch people doing that and I'm like, but you're obsessed. You have no life.
And it's not a good trait. Yeah, no, it's not a great. That's not a good trait.
Because society tells us it's healthy.
Absolutely.
But then I'm like, you won't go out for a meal and eat something because you might go above your macros. It's like, what life is that?
Yeah, yeah. You're still being controlled by something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still changes the way you feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Validates you in some way.
Validates you in some way. Yeah.
Okay, so we meet ex-wife.
Yep.
And you kind of do it a bit together, not really.
Yeah.
When she's away, you're right on it.
And then I started going to work, picking up in the morning. So I started at one point picking up at 6:30 a.m.
Was that from a rollover, or was that, as in, had you already been on it the night before and you just carried on?
No, I just get up in the.
You woke up.
I was using daily anyway, so I was a function addict. So I was using daily. I used to pick up about 6:30 in the morning. I only used to pick up a couple of bags.
It's classic though, because you think to yourself, well, that's all I'll do today.
Yeah, that's it. So I pick up a couple of bags, and then that would last me till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. By this point then, I could no longer work, so I had to go and sit. I would just sit on my own, just not being able, just like really paranoid. Order 2 more. Go and pick 2 more up. Then that would see me through to about 6, 7 o'clock at night. But I finished work at 4 o'clock. So then I had to pretend there was a problem with my phone to my ex, let tyres down on my car many times, taking videos, I got a puncture, but text because I couldn't voice note, like that.
Yeah.
Got a puncture and all that. So I had to do that. I'd never be, people would assume that, oh, what are you doing? Oh, who are you with and all this. I was always on my own. Yeah. I'd be parked in like a little village somewhere, and then I got really paranoid. So I'd drive quickly round to somewhere else and park up, then move to the next place and all that.
And that's what we thought was fun.
Thought that was fun. Thought that was life. Thought that was
mad, isn't it?
And just kept, and then the insanity thing just kept repeat the same process and expecting a different result.
Yeah, but that is, when we start getting into like our routine, like how exhausting that was. The line, like always trying to but when you're in it, you think you're being so clever, like tyres. Oh my yeah. Oh my god! And then you're like, I can keep going because she's. And the relief you get from like the wife, for example, being like, oh, such a shame for you. You're like, yes, got it. Like,
but then she cottoned on very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
Very quickly, yeah. And I knew that I always knew that she would, but I kept on doing it because I couldn't.
Was there a part of you that kind of wanted her to?
What, wanted to?
That she'd cotton on and maybe speak to you about it?
No, it had gone on. We were like 4 years into our relationship now. I wasn't ready to. I didn't want to. I thought I was happy doing it. It made me feel. Yeah, it just made me feel. Until I'd run out, until like a bit later on when actually everything was becoming very shit. I felt great.
When did the cracks start to show then between you and her? Like, when did she figure out like that you weren't going to work and things like that?
Thing is though, it was almost like I was enabled because it showed within a couple of years. It was showing, and nothing was ever done about it. We'd have arguments, but she never left.
Yeah.
It was never. There was no ultimatum given. It was always. I
won't do it again.
Don't do it again. Just don't do it again. I always did do it again, obviously, of course I did. And then we had IVF. We wanted a baby, so we had 2 lots of IVF. We got pregnant and then sadly lost a baby. So that then hit me hard. And I don't want to use the word an excuse, but it did excuse me to continue using. Which was really hard, really, really difficult time for me, that was.
Quite a paradoxical thing that, isn't it? I always find I don't like that word excuse because when you're in active addiction, that's the only way you know how to help yourself.
To deal with it, yeah, of course, yeah. It was the only thing that was there for me. Yeah, see, I went to at the end of we got married. I thought that right, getting married, getting a new house, and having a baby would fix everything. It didn't. It went completely pear-shaped. Yeah. And then she ended up leaving me. I do not blame her one bit. It completely broke me, and still to this day, I'm not over her. I'm definitely not over her. She's moved on. She's pregnant. She's about to give birth, which is great. I'm so happy for her. No, I'm very happy for her, but it hasn't. I'm not over that. Yeah. I'm not over her at all, and that's shit. It's 5 years ago.
That's hard.
5 years ago, yeah. And that's when I went to rehab. So she left me in the September. I went to rehab in the December.
Did you go to rehab in the hope that it would bring you two back together?
Yeah, because that was the deal. The deal was stop using cocaine, and we'll get back to and we'll sort it out.
So you go to rehab.
Went to rehab in December. December the 21st. I went to rehab.
Pre-Christmas.
Pre-Christmas. Came out in end of January.
Where did you go?
Luton Liberty House.
Good.
Part of UCAT. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, nice. Good.
It saved my life.
Was that the first time you'd ever done any type of therapy?
Yeah.
How did you find that?
No, sorry, no, it wasn't. I just lied to you. Completely lied to your face. It wasn't at all. I tried through the NHS as well before, and sadly that wasn't enough.
When you found yourself having to do group therapy, did you have to sort of tackle with the staged Nathan and the?
Yeah, so it was a bit of an act. It was a bit of a performance at start to begin with. I was in denial until my second day of rehab.
Okay.
So I didn't want to go. The only reason why I went to rehab was because I had a cocaine bill that I had to pay, and one of my family members said, "I'll pay it, but only if you go to rehab." So I had no choice.
So there's quite a lot hanging off this first rehab stint, like the relationship, obviously the money that's
saving my family, and it's rehab. Like this is rehab. Like this is what you see in the papers. You see celebrities going to rehab because they're really poorly.
Yeah.
Like, and suddenly I'm being frog marched to rehab off my nut, gone, all my eye and nothing. I'm just a hollow person, about to be separated from my family for 28 days, because I'm really ill.
Prior to that, did you have any conversations with your family about? Did they know?
They knew. Oh yeah, they knew for years. They knew for years because I went through the whole thing of, do us a favour, can you? I ain't got enough to do this. Can you do this? Oh, can I borrow this? Can I do this?
So you had a lot of borrowing money.
Yeah. But I went through, borrowing, stealing.
Yeah.
A lot of that going on. Horrendous. Me as a person, very different to me in active addiction.
Of course.
Two different people.
Yeah.
And the proof's in the pudding of that with every addict actually. So I went some dark times.
So rehab, 28 days.
Yep.
And you're learning about yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what do you discover when you're
in
rehab?
They take you right back to your earliest day and bring you all the way through. So you have your therapy. So we had holistic therapy, had CBT, DBT, a lot of exercise-based work, which really, it was the exercises that done the most for me.
Like written work.
Yeah, absolutely.
You write out your like say goodbye to cocaine and
so letter to addiction, letters of apology, life stories, gratitude's a huge thing.
Massive.
So all those things are the things that saved me. I think being in that environment, I probably didn't need, and I can say that now because I've been on both sides of the coin. Being removed from, it's very. Did you go into clinic?
No.
Right. Okay.
No.
So when I went into clinic, you're basically essentially you're taking the addict, and I was removed from my situation and put into a clinic to learn my skills and tools, techniques to be clean. All right, to live a life clean and sober. Then at the end of it, you've got all that, brilliant, perfect. You feel like a completely different person. You're then put back in it again. Now do it with it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And that's when the real hard work starts. So that is where I struggled then.
Did they not give you a kind of like a program of how to keep things going when you left?
Absolutely, but you're very safe when you're in a clinic.
Yeah.
You're very safe. You've got people around you. First of all, you're with 20, 30 other addicts who all want the same thing because they paid a lot of money, 28 grand.
For 28 days.
For 28 days. You're talking a lot of money, this is.
And you're sat there at the start and someone goes, now the ratio of how many of you will survive this?
4%.
4%. Yeah, so then you're thinking, I'm going to fucking be that. I'm going to be that. I'm going to be the one.
Absolutely. And I can probably say, I reckon every single person that I was in clinic with relapsed. Yeah.
Why do you think that was? Because
it's hard. Listen, it's hard. Recovery is not easy.
I just think So like the reason I didn't do rehab, I was, you know, I spoke about it, but I was in such a bad place emotionally that the thought of someone giving me money, I really struggled to. I wanted to like make myself try to do it through just the programs.
Yeah.
And if I relapse now, there's no way I won't be frog marched off to South Africa, I'm sure, or somewhere to, you know, really. I don't know. I think everyone's story is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I knew that the person I was nearly a year ago, if I'd been sent to rehab, I would have treated it like a holiday. And that's just being really honest.
Yeah.
I just knew that I would be, I don't know, be like, I've done rehab now. You came out of rehab.
Come out of rehab,
Start social media.
Yep.
Marriages now.
She weren't interested at all.
So you, even though that was the deal, you went in.
Yeah.
And then
Didn't have
hard.
any contact afterwards, really.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. Really
So
sad,
that was kind of the promise, and then you did it. And
yeah. But then what I learned in rehab was you have to, any negativity, listen, not all things were my fault, okay, in my previous relationship. Not everything was my fault. There was things going on as well.
It's really hard, I think, when you're an addict to say, like other addicts will completely understand that, but if you're trying to say that to anyone else, they just look at you and sort of go, come on.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah. It wasn't all my fault, and people know that, and she knows that, but with other things that went on, private things, but yeah, that hit hard. But what I had to learn in rehab is that when I first went in, I was doing it for her and my family.
Yeah.
You have to learn very quickly. No, you do this. This is for you. You have to do it for you, because if not, you're not. You know, you have to get you back.
Well, you depend on everyone else to kind of keep you going when you come out of it.
Absolutely.
And if they're not there.
Yeah, then what you got then? Got nothing.
Well, I'm back with myself.
You have to
and
start
I
with
didn't
your foundation, and you have to build right back, go back to your, to the foundation. So you've got, if everything else goes to shit around you, which it did, you've then got yourself. You've got your solid foundation.
Yeah, and you have yourself.
Yeah.
So everything goes to shit.
Everything went to shit when I first come out.
Yeah.
Oh no, everything was great for a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, it was clean. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Absolutely great.
And what were you doing to stay clean in that time?
Every single thing that you're taught in rehab.
Yeah.
Everything that then I stopped doing.
Yeah.
So the graduate list meeting. So I was doing CA, NA, and AA every single day.
Yeah.
Online courses and face-to-face, online meetings and face-to-face.
Sponsor.
Plus a sponsor as well. Then I had my social media as well, which was almost like self-healing. So I was basically
You basically took recovery and surrounded yourself 360.
Every single thing was all my life was recovery.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. And I'm back to there again now, which is perfect.
Which we're going to talk about.
Which is lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, then social media started going really well. I started then getting TV offers. So I lost agents before, so I was doing some stuff for BBC, and then I lost agents because I was missing call time. So one particular.
Come on.
So I was doing
give me a story.
EastEnders, right?
Yeah.
So I was doing a bit on EastEnders, and I lost my agent. So the main agent for EastEnders is based at Elstree Studios, Bournemouth. And I missed a call time, so I had a 7 day block filming on Enders, and I missed my call time on the 7th day. And obviously for continuity then, that ruins everything.
Yeah.
And they're just like, nope. So they only showed a couple of things, they only showed a couple of little bits of filming that I'd done. And I lost my agent to get any more work from them. Come out of rehab, and this is not just a coincidence, come out of rehab, positivity and all this, I had an email from them. Hi Nathan, we have some work for you. Would you like to come back for us?
Did they know you'd done rehab?
No, but obviously the only way they would have seen my stuff is through social media. But at that point, I'd only got about 10 or 12, maybe 15,000 followers.
Yeah.
Within the first few weeks. It's very unlikely they would have seen that. So I put that down to the law of attraction. Manifestation, I was talking a lot of bigging it up in rehab, and knew I wanted to, that was my dream. And it still is, I still want to do some TV bits, I do.
I think that would be more of like as and when that happens, it will just be like a nice bit of closure for you to be like, fucking,
I've done it. I've got there. Eventually I got there.
I'd tick that box.
I've done it, yeah. And then got back involved with my ex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I basically started seeing someone else.
Okay.
Right, so we're a year and a half out of clinic, rehab. Started seeing someone else. My ex got wind of this.
Oh, and now all of a sudden.
Now suddenly she wants to be involved again. She said, "It's all I ever wanted, Nay. It's all I ever wanted, for you
she's
to be doing
watching
well.
You give it to someone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, you can't have someone at their worst. You certainly don't deserve them at their best.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't do some nice things. I never cheated. I lied a lot. Yes, I did lie a lot. I used cocaine behind your back. Yes, I did do that. Bills were always paid. Do you know what I mean? And I still provided. A lot over the years. I just sadly lost myself to cocaine addiction, and I lied about it. And spent an awful lot, and I was giving things away, and signing cars over for gear and all that sort of stuff. And it went horrible. But then when I did, I said one day, and I will do it, and I will get myself clean, and I will be the person you want me to be, blah blah blah. And then when I was, she, at the time didn't want to know. So now, I find someone else and I'd never experienced that because I was clean and sober.
Completely different.
It was just like a completely different feeling. It's really special when it comes back round though.
But I also know what I'm like now, and I also know that I'll be very like. And I just
don't do that.
No, but I just get really worried that I don't know. I've always been in relationships where I drop everything that I'm doing, and I'll just put myself into.
And you're gonna find you are gonna do that. You are gonna do that.
And my mum's like, well, it's been 11. Speaking to my parents, we're obviously now all very close. And my dad went, 11 months. I was like, yes, Dad. He was like, fucking hell. He was like, Jesus.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. I actually think, though, off the back of the learning of that, I do think if you're someone who is like us, like a people pleaser, to be aware of that, because I don't know if I would have stayed sober especially if I got involved with like another addict again. I'd be, I don't know, you're susceptible. They say, don't they, like in rehab, for example, people fall in love all the time, but really it's just because you're both being vulnerable together in a group setting. Yeah,
of course. And you're just seeing you're basically seeing everyone and taking everyone from a very low point.
Yeah.
And and also there's quite that's like the ideal dream sort of thing. Help each other from the very bottom up and blossom.
Also,
you know what I mean?
I think there's a lot to be said for when you first get into a relationship. Crack on with the therapy straight away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just check yourself into it.
Yeah.
Have a mediator. Okay, so you meet somebody else.
Yeah.
She doesn't like that.
No, she didn't like that at all.
No.
She's.
And did you go back?
Hated that. So I went back, and ruined everything. Yeah.
But you went back clean and sober.
Yeah, so I went back, and then within a few weeks. Nah.
Can I ask though? Did you find that you didn't feel the same maybe way because now you're clean and sober?
No, I was always
version?
besotted. I was always besotted. Yeah, always besotted by her. But yeah, I done that, and it ruined because she didn't actually want me.
Right, she just didn't want someone else to have you.
She didn't want someone else to have me. So I come back and I told the other girl. I had to be honest, and I said that I'd met up with my ex and stuff like that, and then she didn't want to know now either, which is completely understandable. I got that, and now by this point, my ex partner didn't. She was like, well, no, don't worry about it now. She's almost like, both. Yeah, so yeah, you lost both of them ones then. Yeah, and then that sent me down again.
Did it?
Yeah.
Because like, who's there to validate me?
And then obviously, of course, by this point, social media was doing really well, and I thought, Nath, you've got this. You have nailed this, mate. Stop going to your meetings. Don't worry about that now.
Yeah.
Don't bother doing your gratitude list. And the next thing you know, I thought, I introduced the pub, popped down. I can have a couple of pints now.
I never had an issue with drinking.
And then, we'll give it a couple of things. Before you know it, you're with the wrong people again. All goes Pete Tong.
Did you have like a fear of Did you have a fear of relapse?
I was always told, and this isn't the way to look at it, but here's what you said. Listen, relapse is part of your journey. Right, I hate that. I hate it. I hate it, but that's what I was always told it.
Yeah.
But I was always told it by the people that have relapsed.
Yeah.
Right? That
is so true.
Right. So anyone else that's been clean for 15, like a friend of mine, Danny, social media Danny, 15 years in recovery, right? 15 years since he touched a drop of alcohol. He's never said that. He's never said relapse is part of recovery.
No.
Right? So I sort of believed that, and listen, I've had some horrific relapses, and I have, short and long. But I don't tell myself now that listen is part of it. I just think you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Is basically what I tell myself now.
Yeah, it's funny because it kind of to an addict brain.
You
If
excuse
another
it.
addict goes, don't worry. It's
Yeah, yeah.
you
listen,
go,
it's
okay.
fine. It's all part of the
Yeah.
journey, mate. Oh, is it? Okay, let's get on it now then. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
What I found the weirdest thing when I first started going to the rooms is, obviously you've been around here now. Like I'm usually the youngest person in those rooms, unless I do fellowship in London. And the first time that a young woman came in, and I was like, and we started exchanging like war stories, and I was like, fuck it. And then you think, oh, I'd love to get on it with this girl. It's mad because it's like, oh my god, let's get in that meeting now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a, I don't know. Fellowship is. I don't know if you've got any views on fellowship.
Yeah. I have,
Should we get to your sort of rock bottoms first, and then go on to recovery talk?
Yeah. So rock bottoms were what my lapses.
Well, I don't know. I feel like have we had a relapse yet on the timeline?
No, we haven't touched.
Okay.
Well, the first relapse was with when the whole thing with the two girls.
Okay.
That was my first lapse, 4 months.
And do you know now what you put that down to? Is that just like the?
Well, I use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
But
really, it's like no one wants me.
But listen, yeah, but also like I'd been clean up to that point with no problems. Then suddenly something happens. Surely that can't just be a coincidence. Something happens, and then I go off the rails for 4 months.
You feel bad? Like when you were sat there, the first line was put in front of you. What's the thought process there? Or because you've had a couple of pints, are you like, fuck it, I'm already
Yeah,
here?
I couldn't. I was already a mind-altering substance in it, so straight away it's just.
Was there any part of you that was thinking about it?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
most parts are saying, "Don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare." But then there's one little bit.
All you need.
Go on, mate, just do one. You can have one. Been clean for a year and a half. Go on.
Also, it's like that need to test it out.
Let's just make sure I'm definitely not.
Am
definitely
I
not
really
an
an addict?
God.
But it's the insanity of that, because you've shown yourself thousands of times before. For me, for example, like the drug that got created in my system when I drank, I had to use.
Yeah.
So I had cocaine, this situation.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was one time where I'd gone, I remember it 5 years ago, one time where I'd gone and I didn't, and the plate went around the kitchen and I went, I'm just going to go home, guys. I hang on to that.
That's amazing. Like what? That's
I hung on to that for years, thinking like, yeah, but that one time when I said no.
Yeah.
Thousands of times
yeah.
I've given in to myself, and and that it's like,
yeah.
all the times where I would abstain for like, this was years ago, not the last 2 years of my eating. That was 4 days at a time. But I'd do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So like I would manage to stop, abstain, keep myself under lock and key. Literally, wouldn't go anywhere, touch anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've done 2 weeks now. I deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm not an addict.
It's mad where it makes me feel really disgusting actually. Like now the more you talk about, like it makes me feel really disgusting. It makes my skin crawl.
Same. I think that's probably a good thing though.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely, yeah. You never want to go back to that, and would never ever want to go back to that.
What I say to people though is like, a lot of people, and I'm sure you get the same thing, they message me and they'll be like, I know I've got a problem, but I still have such a good time. And I'm like, well, you're probably just not there yet. It's good that you're aware, but there's no fucking way I was going to be given something up that I still enjoyed.
No way.
Like, it had to get to a point where I'm like,
when people say to me now, right? So people say, what's cocaine like? Especially youngsters, like, what's cocaine like? I say it's fucking incredible. Let's face it, we wouldn't do it. People wouldn't do it if it was crap. However, these are the consequences. This is where it's going to take you. Eventually, this is where it's going to take you.
It's
this
a
is
lie,
what's
isn't
gonna
it?
happen.
That's the thing. It's a fucking lie.
It's a bullshit drug.
And I really wish I'd done a better one, actually, when I think about it.
Ecstasy.
Yeah, I love that.
People say, people talk about that. People still to this day talk to me about ecstasy.
I did all of them apart from crack and heroin, but I nothing. I could take them or leave them. Always. That was for me. I think I do notice, so cocaine addicts, we have quite a similar personality type.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do, and I think that's interesting. But it's so lonely by the end.
That's where it wants you.
Yeah.
Cocaine wants you on its own, on your own.
If you think about
in
it,
a
though,
room.
It's the most expensive. You share it out with everyone.
Give it to everyone. Bear in mind, every time as well, right? Every time you go, do you want a line? That's £5, basically.
Yeah.
You say, yeah. You basically just throw in, cool, yeah. John, Dave, do you all want one? you know, you're up there doing that. I think that's how you should do it. Doing that. You're literally get £5 a go, just giving it away. The most expensive drug's the one we just go, you wouldn't do it with a pint, would you?
No,
yeah,
but the one that doesn't last the least amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just mental as a drug. I just think it's... And I was always that person. I don't know about you. I was like, I wanted
everyone around you.
Yeah, I'll pay for it. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll sort it.
Just wanted people there. Just wanted people around. Yeah.
Until then, you're on your own.
Where it wants you. On your own in a room with nothing left.
So the first relapse is 4 months.
Yeah.
Do you tell anyone about it?
No.
That's hard, yeah. Because then you've got your own little secret as well.
Just kept it to myself.
Were you still doing social media?
For the first month, I was
still
posting, and then I was like, you have got to get this. You've got to rein yourself in now. So I come off of it completely. Just didn't post.
And did people message you?
People were messaging all the time, still asking the same questions, which I still get now about how to get for help, and also to check up, see if I'm okay.
I see some other content creators, they're like, I started reading this book every night called The Pivot Year, which has been amazing because it keeps me consistent, but also, and this is my own bar that I've set, it's no one else, but I get so terrified if I don't go on and read that book, people are going to think that I've relapsed.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of the social media side of things that can be quite...
But remember as well, it's really important, it is your recovery journey.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck what anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
I get so much hate I've had. Quite recently as well, which we'll go on to, but quite recently, so much negativity, so much hate. Fuck people, fuck what they think. Do you know what I mean? You don't know me. You don't know. You might have heard a few little things going on. I'm gonna give a shit. Don't judge me. Do you know what I mean? Until you've done what I'm doing, come and live with me. Come and stay with me, and then see what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Social media is great. And you'll know this anyway when you get a following. Like, social media is great, but it's also shit. There's too many people think they know you, think they know us. They see videos going viral and all this. Our face appears on all over the place or whatever, and they assume they know who we are.
They also think that that it provides a lot of money for some reason. I think they think that you're in the top 100 on spot, all this stuff. It's like, these chairs are on finance. Do you know what I mean? Like,
very comfortable though.
Thank you. Built them myself. Any bit of money I make has gone back into this podcast. People don't want to believe things either. So when I say this, you must be saving loads of money. I'm like, I'm 31. I still live at home with my parents because I had to.
Yeah.
And everything I do is this.
What they see people doing social media. Like, my account has never been monetized. It has been, but not. I've never haven't made, you look at the likes of, and I'm not promoting these people at all, I'm just saying their names because it's relevant, Bevo, people like this, right? So people that don't do...
Hashtag
Brady. They don't offer, his entertainment value, great, but
really?
I want to touch on on Bevo. I just want to touch on Bevo.
Don't talk about his bloody thing with Bonnie Blue because I'll kill you.
No, but just how he's making an absolute fucking fortune.
He's just
What's he offering? Got nothing. There's nothing.
Who's
watching? Why are people watching this stuff?
I know.
Do you get messages all the time though from TikTok shops saying, "Do you want to be one of our things?"
I'm not qualified because I've abused the guidelines apparently.
Oh, that's not a bad thing though, is it? I'll abuse them if there's not messages.
I've never been good with guidelines anyway.
Guidelines, smidelines.
Oh, the feet pics, that's my favourite thing, or the sugar daddies.
Oh, weird. I haven't had that.
So weird. Someone asked me for my hands. I was like, my hands are in all of my videos. I don't know what more you'd like me to do with them. Bizarre.
Money's money there. Come on.
I know, I was thinking, someone said to me, when those offers dry up, you'll wish you'd taken them. Okay, first relapse is 4 months.
Yep.
How are you feeling in that time? Because you were living a bit of a lie. Well, you are living a
complete lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the shame side of things is keeping it from my family.
Yeah.
That was anything else didn't really. I was sort of I felt myself sort of going. Sorry, I'd have to just say this.
Go on.
Why is that one up there?
Right, let me explain it to you. So, it's about swimming away from the shoal.
Ah, breaking free.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's great.
I did the art piece. It's on a canvas somewhere. And when I was first.
Did you make this?
No, one of my followers made this.
Did they?
Yeah. I paid for it.
I love it. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh. TikTok shop.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's really fun, actually.
So I drew it and painted it on a canvas, and we had used when this studio was, we didn't do it if we didn't have the BTEC version, Wish version. I just had the canvas up, and then they offered to make it for me.
That's really nice,
3D.
isn't it? Really good idea that
They've
is.
done a good job.
I might look at something like that. Might even get that have that commission for. Don't just get it done for the halibut.
Well,
Sorry, oh God.
it's just the place of it.
Oh, very good.
Scaling up.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Let's get serious.
Right. Okay. So 4 months. The shame side was through because I didn't tell my family. Like I kept it from my family and my friends. And then I jumped back onto just got myself back into meetings again. Threw myself back into recovery. Started posting. Started using social media. Started going back live again. Self-healing. The social media is great for me because it's like just explaining my story, my recovery, like with things I learnt in clinic, my experiences, and it's just constantly just doing that. Feels like it's very different talking to camera than talking to a room full of people.
Yeah.
I prefer talking to a room full of people.
Do
I
you?
bounce better because I can bounce off people, so I prefer that.
Yeah.
I find myself I feel quite awkward on camera.
Where do we go from there then? Because you went back into recovery after a 4-month relapse.
Yep.
And then what's happening?
Then I went straight, so I got back into the meetings.
Yeah.
Threw myself, like I said, at social media. Started helping a lot more people.
Yeah.
I had a lot more people. By this point, I was, well over 100,000 followers. Okay. And
was there any a part of you that sort of got derailed by any of that, ego-wise?
No, so what I'd done was I remember doing a video, sat in my car, and I'd done a video about my relapse. I thought I had to be honest about it. I had a break off social media, and had quite a good, I had a presence on social media then, and it was important for me to be open, to be honest about. Bear in mind, I'd spent a year and a half telling people, be open, be honest. I had to sort of do it myself. I'd done a video being open and honest about my lapse, and where I was going to go, what I was going to do moving forward, which I did. And then got clean again for probably about 6 months before it went tits up again.
What happened?
Pretty much the same sort of thing.
You went back to her again?
Yeah. I went back to North Devon. I was just about to go on stage at 6 o'clock, and I had a message come through, and it said, "Hi Naya, I really need to speak to you." So I said, "I'm just about to go on stage to do a kids' time." I said, "Whoever it is," I said, "I'm happy. Please, be happy. I don't want to know who it is, but I'm happy for you." She went, "No, it's nothing like that." So I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" So I rang up. She said, "I'm pregnant." So I said, "Oh." So that's worse, really. I don't need to know that. She said, "Yeah," but she said, "I don't want to. I'm not going to tell the person. I want you to come back and bring the child up with me."
Wow.
So I quit my job and I moved back to Norfolk.
When did you do it?
No. And then from that point, there was an abortion involved. And when that abortion was done, I was then sent along my way again.
Wow. So
And
there
then
was quite a lot of, I say jump, you say how high.
She had me on that string, like that, for as long as she wanted to move. Even now, if she hadn't have moved on with her life now, listen, please don't get me wrong, I'm not making this. Can I look down that can? Yeah. I'm not making this about my ex-partner, by the way. I'm going to nip that in the bud.
It's your story,
but it is part of my story, and I think it's very relevant to me and my feelings along the way. So that she for many, and she knew she had me like that. Yeah. She knew she had me jump how high, and she'd be always like that. And listen, if she hadn't have moved on and gotten to where she is now, she's doing very well now, and I'm from the bottom of my heart, I'm so happy for her now, and it's genuine now. Yeah. I'm not just saying it like whatever. Yeah. I mean it. The point, a couple of months ago, I rung her up and I said, I just want to say I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you, and And yeah, but because if she hadn't have moved on, I'd still be in that same situation.
Yeah.
So I'm actually very grateful for it. Really grateful for the fact that that she's finally met someone. She's really happy. They're really happy. They're great, really well suited, and he's successful, and he can give her a baby, and that's all she wanted. And I couldn't do that. So, it means that it's broken me away from it. And I don't have to keep on thinking. Is she thinking about me? Because she's getting on with her life. Brilliant.
Closure.
It's closure.
In a very painful
and
way.
I needed that. I needed that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It just never happened, because for years and years we was, shall we, can't, you know, should we, shouldn't we, and all this sort of stuff. And I was always just waiting for her to knock on the door. Can we come back together now? And it just never happened. Well, it did, but then it only happened for a week or for 2 weeks or so, and then it all just went Pete Tong.
Quite hard though, that.
Really hard to deal with, yeah. And I've never ever spoke. In fact, this is the first conversation I've ever had about it properly. I've never spoken to anyone properly about it. Not even my closest friends.
Why do you think
A
that
couple
is?
of those. I don't know if it's relevant, really. I don't know. I don't think it's relevant.
I'd say it's a big part.
I don't know if people care.
I'd say it's a big part of your story.
Yeah, I know it is, but I don't want to burden people. I've been the burden for years.
Because you've obviously affected someone's life through addiction, but it doesn't mean that in a relationship, like we're saying, like that everything was your fault, and that, you know, that person didn't treat you in a way that, you know, has hurt your feelings. If your feelings have been hurt, then it's valid.
Yeah, of course, absolutely, yeah. It's only valid for me, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that obviously sent me on another spiral for only a couple of months. That time was a couple of months.
How dark are things getting in terms of these relapses? Because, you know, we both know, like, they never go where we want them to go. They're never fun.
No, but I do look at it like this. Although it's not, I don't know. I never think it's part of my thing. But what I do think is relapse doesn't define someone.
No.
What defines someone is when they get back off, when they come off the relapse and they start fighting for their recovery again. That's what defines someone, and that's what I've always done the 3 times that I've relapsed.
I'd say it's much harder to come back off of a relapse than it is the first time you go into recovery.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because there's that added pressure within yourself or whatever of the fact that you've got however many days or however many months and you've done the rehab and you've done the therapy and now, I've just fucked it all. Coming back from that, as opposed to when you first go in, with no expectation on yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bit different.
And when you have a taste of sobriety, you have a taste of recovery, you don't want to. I've never met anyone in recovery that says, "Oh, I wish I was still using drugs."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it always goes back to where you left it, if not worse.
Yeah. Oh, it'll get worse and worse every time. It has for me.
Yeah.
To my most recent trip. It always gets worse and worse. Every single time it will get darker and darker and darker until you've completely exhausted absolutely haven't you? Lost everything and everyone around you, and listen, it takes you to 3 places. You either get clean, you go to jail, or you die.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 options in addiction.
What are some of the worst situations you've been in because of your drug habit?
But the worst place, I mean, I've been at some horrific.
Oh yeah, so.
I mean, I've been.
No, not places.
Oh, okay.
Like,
situations.
Yeah, that you've put yourself in potentially.
Oh, like the lies that used to come out of my mouth. I used to believe in myself. I wouldn't care about spinning a load of lies to someone to do something.
So you could carry on taking drugs.
Keep on doing stuff. Yeah, not turn up to. You used to let people down. Not turn up to events. Not turn up to family dues or meals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let people down. You know, I stole a lot of people's peace of mind. That's one of the worst things I've stolen from people that I love dearly.
Yeah.
Stole their peace of mind for a long time.
Yeah, my best friend said that, and my mum, the worry.
The worry you put people through.
You don't know that they're going through what you just think, you know, shut up, mum. Or
Me and my mum and dad were held at gunpoint at one point.
Okay, let's talk about that.
In Cambridge. So in Cambridge, I owed someone £100.
£100?
£100. And we went to pay it at a place of Parker's Piece, a little place. I forgot what the bloody name of it is. But across the park is the Parkside Police Station. And my dad, so we drove down the road, we turned around, come back up the road, stopped the car, and it's like a one single road thing with the pubs here. I got out of the car, went up, went into the pub, paid it. As I paid it, he went, now you're going to fucking run. So I was like, what? So I run out the thing, run back onto the car, driving out, the bloke walked out the pub like that, I opened his jacket like that and pulled out a gun like that. My dad just went like that, just drove into him, shoved him, knocked him out of the way. We drove straight from there. Obviously it was absolute horror, of course it was, with my parents. Drove straight round to police, round to Parkside Police Station, reported what had happened. Whether or not anything was done, I don't know, but I had a phone call later on that day saying, right, we'll forget about all that now. And that was it.
Your dad hit him?
In the car, yeah.
Ran him over?
Yeah, it didn't run him over. Like, it drove, like, say the bloke was stood here.
Just drove at
went
him.
like that, bang, like, it clipped him, like, no, actually hit him out the way, yeah.
And then you went to the police, what
went to the police station to report. I said, well, I
what
went
were you
in
say?
there.
I was paying my drug dealer.
Yeah, no, that's what I did say that. I was never going to be done for. One thing with me going, I was never worried about the drug side, as in like, listen, I haven't got any, okay, so most people, I'm not being funny, probably 90% of people that I know do cocaine.
Same.
Right? I was never bothered about people knowing. I didn't care.
Yeah, no.
I'd be driving along the thing, racking up a line, sniffing the thing, thinking that's normal. It's mental.
Yeah.
People in other cars looking at me, it's disgusting. But I didn't think anything of it.
No.
So going to the police and saying, yeah, I was just paying for something and someone had a gun and just pulled a gun out. That was no skin off.
No.
Again, no skin off my nose at all. No pun intended again, but yeah.
Yeah, the normalisation of the drug driving thing, that still haunts me, that stuff a bit.
Horrible.
I would go down the
mental.
motorway, sniffing lines, drinking,
Yeah.
sometimes doing nos balloons, not a care in the world. The cameras on the M4, like, no, that's not going to happen to me.
No.
Pick it up on the way to Bristol, then heading down to thing like...
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Bristol. Is that far from there?
Sorry, an hour and a half.
Oh, okay. Right.
Why?
That's where she lives now.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No.
So she's not coming. No.
Surprise guest.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Yeah, she decided again that
Yeah.
Okay, so we have so what are your parents saying in that situation? Are they kind of used to the chaos?
Horrified.
No.
And all, like that's when started distancing themselves. My sisters, obviously my family. Everyone knew about it. Like everyone knew what was going on. Everyone knew where I was. The road I was heading down. People started removing themselves from my life and stuff, which obviously had an impact on me as well.
Did you have anyone you could go to?
No, I didn't have.
I
did.
Is that your own barrier, or is
it's probably It's no. I'd already gone past. I've gone past the point of I need some help because I'd never come to terms with that until I went to rehab. I didn't realise I'm not an addict. I don't need help. So I didn't need to reach out to anyone for help. I just knew that I loved cocaine. That's all I knew. I didn't know what was going on for me. I just knew I loved using gear.
So since sort of like this journey of going into recovery, rehab, the rooms, have you come to a better understanding as to why you did your ADHD play a part in this?
Yeah, so I have battled with ADHD, for a very long time. Diagnosed just after rehab.
Yeah, the learnings I now have on that, I personally couldn't sympathise with it as a mental health problem for a really long time, because it was perpetuated to me as, oh God, you can't remember your car keys, or you're late to everything, and I was like, this isn't really worthy of me being upset about. People have fought in the war, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And then when I started understanding the emotional side of ADHD, RSD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria, I was like, okay,
heightened,
well, this
makes, of course.
And the dopamine and the da-da-da.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you sometimes, I'm kind of at a bit of a stage in my journey where I'm like, would I have been an addict if I didn't have ADHD? If I
separate, I think it's a separate thing. As in, I think, listen, so like, are you OCD as well?
No. Combined ADHD,
right,
level
okay.
9 on both. I'm just right at the top of the ADHD.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm not. I never had anything that I need to be particular about. But I just find addictive behaviours generally, I think we label lots of things like addictive behaviours generally can manifest in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
OCD, ADHD, you know, some people with food, you know, there's loads of different.
Yeah. I think it's very, you know, these are ADHD's attention deficit heightened disorder. Is that right?
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Hyperactivity
which
disorder.
It doesn't describe what it is. It doesn't describe.
It doesn't
what it is.
describe it. No,
There's
it
that,
doesn't. No.
That. What's the shortened version of a word? I don't know what the word is. Acronym.
An acronym. Yeah.
Is that right?
An acronym. An acronym.
An anemone.
An acronym. I think. Yeah, it's an acronym.
No
I think
idea.
that's right.
We'll go with it.
Yeah. Let's.
It doesn't describe.
Pop a comment below.
Subscribe. It doesn't explain it because it's not hyper. It's the fact that you don't know how to prioritize your attention in the right way.
Yeah.
And that's only one part.
Well, that's one part of it. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, do you have a better understanding as to why you were the way you were?
I have only excuse me. I have only learnt recently excuse me, about things in my life, my past and my behaviours, things I didn't learn in rehab. I've learnt very recently I've learnt about me, and it's again saved me.
Which is?
Going to prison.
Okay.
Yeah. Something I'm not proud about
No.
at all, but something that I think is very relevant and I think people should hear.
Okay.
Because it's where it will take people.
Mm.
At some point, whether or not, like I said earlier, you get clean, you go to jail, or you die.
Mm.
Those are the three. I've done two of those things now.
Mm.
And if it hadn't have been for the two of those things that I've done, that third one wasn't too far away.
Mm.
You know, I would have completed all three of them. And I don't want to. I'm not
Like
ready.
the true addict.
I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that yet.
A lot of people, a common thing they've said on here, which I actually really relate to, is that sometimes, we have wanted to die, but you don't want to die.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean by that? So, like, when you're really in the depths of it, and you're like, I just don't want to do this anymore. But I know that I'm more than it.
Yeah, yeah. I can relate to that.
Okay, so prison.
Yep.
Do you want to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay. What happened?
So I was caught up last year.
Mm-hmm.
Caught up with some fraud running. Got back involved. So 2 years ago, I got back involved with drugs and moving drugs.
Okay.
Not stupid amounts of. This is not. I'm not.
Oh, don't worry. The last guy was doing 20 keys.
I'm
so
not condoning. No,
you'll be
I
all
want
right.
nothing like that at
Small
all.
bits.
It was basically moving around drugs with a taxi. I was given a taxi code from a chap that worked for a company, and
What was the company?
it was a night shelter in Cambridge.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a charity.
Okay.
So someone that worked for them gave me the code for the taxis.
Were you working for the church?
I wasn't. No. They helped me. They actually helped me
Okay.
when I came back from my ex, on the last time with my ex.
Yep.
I ended up with nowhere to go, so they actually helped me out. Very, very grateful for it.
Oh, you went
Of
to the
course.
night shelter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then got involved with this, and I was given a code to use some taxis for the thing, and I'd done it for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
But totaled up a bill of £6,500
To go where?
of taxis, just all at different places. But it was a safe way of getting around
But why did you need to get taxis to places?
to run drugs.
So you're working at the night shelter?
I wasn't working
Oh,
there.
you're living at the night shelter?
Living there, yeah.
And they have... sorry, I just want to... So you
Yeah.
get your... Because I don't...
Yeah. So they have an account with the taxi company.
Yeah. And they just let you use it?
They gave for certain appointments we could use the taxis.
Okay, like going to meetings?
Yes, I obviously took the piss with that massively.
Right, with you. Okay.
Right. So so
And
I
there's someone else that works there and they give you a code.
gave me the code to use it.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously then that caught up with me after I was doing that for 3 months. That obviously then I stopped it. Obviously completely realised what on earth are you doing?
Does a taxi driver not know?
No, there's hundreds of these taxis.
Right, with you. And are you using it at this point?
Yeah. So
Okay,
this is my third lapse.
Yeah.
Right. So this was a year ago.
Uh-huh.
So from that point, was getting the taxis. Then it caught. I stopped it so this is now going back. This is going back now 8 months. 8 months ago, I stopped. Completely stopped. Went back on the straight and narrow. Stopped doing all the things. Thought no. I then emailed the company to explain what I've been doing. Obviously, then that was reported to the police. The police then arrested me, and I got sent to Peterborough prison. I was held on remand for 6 weeks. I then got sentenced to 15 months in prison. I served 5 months, and then I'm on a tag until April.
Talk me through then. See, but this is again really similar thing in your story where like the honesty side to you, you know, like you've emailed the company and said.
Yeah, listen, I was never scared. They done me for fraud by false representation. I always called for my number and always gave my name. I was never booking it under someone else's name, saying hi, it's Sarah or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I don't know Sarah is, no offence. You know, it was always hi, it's Nathan. Can I book a taxi, please? Blah 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 blah. It was never a thing.
I suppose the dark side to it is obviously just the fact that
the fact that I was doing it.
Well,
it's disgraceful.
And like, I'm not trying to compare, but obviously if you're doing it for some big corporate firm, it's the fact that it's probably because it's a night
charity.
Yeah.
Absolutely, of course.
That is
absolutely disgraceful.
I'm
mortified by it. I'm mortified. But I'm being real. Like, and I have to be honest. This is where it takes you.
Yeah, you're ill. In that time, you're ill.
It's where it takes you. And you know, I'm going to do my absolute utmost. I will get that every single penny back to them.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And I will do that.
Yeah.
And I'll film it. And I will make sure that is done.
Yeah.
And I will make sure that's done because that isn't me. Again, it isn't me. It's me in when I'm using. When I'm using gear, I turn into this absolute monster, as I'm sure a lot of your subscribers, click the button, can relate, you know?
Yeah, and we're just the ones sitting on a podcast being open enough to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Okay, so you walk on that wing.
Yep.
You've got a grey tracksuit on.
Yep.
How on earth are you feeling?
Shitting myself.
Yeah, let's be real.
Petrified, like it. I was petrified. It was the most daunting. It was the most daunting thing I've ever done. Yeah, thing I've ever been involved in.
Sharing a cell.
Sharing a cell. Yeah, you've got people on there.
Lots of my guests talked about. Yeah, spice.
Spice is a massive. Spice and hooch are the biggest things
What's
in prison.
hooch?
Hooch is like home brewed alcohol.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
they make it themselves in there. Spice is massive, obviously, and very easy. Like people on Spice all the time, bits of paper, comes in on bits of paper, laced paper.
Yeah.
They just tear bits off, put it in there, put it in the vape, empty the vape pens out, put it in there, burn it. And you get people just like that.
Zombified.
Oh, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Not tempted?
No. God, no. No way. No.
Did you do drugs when you were in prison?
No.
Did you get offered them?
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah, every other day.
Yeah.
There's always weed or never any coke.
No, probably too expensive.
Too expensive to get in there, I think. Thing like the prices in prison.
Yeah, it's double, isn't it?
It's like £800 for an ounce of tobacco.
Bad.
Mental.
What was sort of the reaction from family?
Oh, they're mortified.
Are you in touch with all your family?
Yeah, I am now. I am again now. Yeah. And this is why I can't. I could never ever. I've just repaired something. I've just got. Prison was my very last thing for me. And do you know what? For years I said it had to happen.
That's so funny you say that because Scott that came on, he had the situation the first time that he went in. I mean, I was telling you on the phone. Yeah. He robbed the guys that wear the visors that carry the money from the vans. Yeah. And he got away with it for like 3 months, and he kept Googling like, why is this not coming up? Why is not anyone being caught in my area for stealing the money out of the thing? And he was like on mad sessions. Eventually, the police came in, armed police. He's on a session anyway. He just puts his hands up, and he was like the relief. Yeah, that's what I mean. Knowing that, so yeah, you actually been thinking like, okay, prison might actually really help me to like.
And prison again, and I said this earlier before we started filming. Prison saved me again, and it did. It gave me back routine, it gave me back structure, and it gave me back a purpose in my life. And I'm ever so grateful. That's all I didn't need. I didn't need the counselling in there for drug therapy. I already know what that is. I've got that anyway, and I'm very good. I'm very good with that. You know what I mean? I'm very good at giving it, and I'm very good at taking it on. I didn't need that. What I needed, which rehab didn't give me, was structure, a purpose, and a regimented routine.
I think as well sometimes with us, like, because we've played with fire and we've been quite risky characters, like when you level up on that way, like, it's fucking prison.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get away with being a dick.
No.
Like,
No.
it's
Yeah,
prison.
it's very. Yeah,
You're not the kingpin of your own life anymore.
No. Absolutely. Yeah,
You
you're.
know,
This is big. It's big boy stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you know.
Scared.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, like, you put
scared.
yourself in
There's
some
banging going on, and I hate all that. I'm not.
Yeah.
Listen, I do. If there's trouble, right, what I do is I do a magic trick, I play the guitar and the piano. If that doesn't work, I run away. It's as simple as that. I don't get involved with trouble. I've always got myself into trouble, but I don't fight. I've never. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah, not confrontational.
No, I hate it. I don't like all that. I'm not. I'm not about that at all.
Horror stories from prison? Any?
See stabbings. See a couple of stabbings. One of my friends got stabbed in the eye in the shower, or slashed. I know he's that way there, like that. That was horrible. And the same guy about 2 weeks later got. We was queuing up for dinner, and someone come up behind and sucker punched him in the back of the head like that, knocked him out, hit his head on the pool table, and he just went straight to the floor. Bang! And his head just went. Pfft, and just big pools of blood all around his head. It was horrific. Yeah.
The hierarchy in there, did you manage to work it out quite quickly?
Yeah, I was the entertainer. I was the performer. So I was very well respected in prison. I used to do so we had a radio show, so I used to do the breakfast show for Oxygen Radio in Peterborough.
Love that.
So I'd done that every single day. I got a MVQ level 1 and 2 in radio and media production whilst I was in there, and started working on myself, like from day one, just every single day, going through my life story again. So I started doing my life story. I come up with started doing this tape measure theory, which is absolutely incredible. If you haven't done that, anyone watching, have a look at that.
What is that?
So you get a tape measure, open it up to 100,
Yeah.
and then use the inches as the ages. So you look at, for instance, for me. So if I open that up to 100, I go to 40. I'm there. So I've used all this much I've had in my life. I've only got that bit there to go.
Wow.
And then I look between 18 and 40, my cocaine using. Right? So obviously with breaks and all that, obviously, of course. That, I look at what my nephew's ages are here. My dad's age is all the way up here. My mum's here. My dad's had all of that. He's only got that bit there left to go. If I don't get this shit right in the next 5 years, none of this is me. I ain't got any more. I've got nothing left. Do you know what I mean? It's a really powerful thing.
Visual.
It's great. And the longer you do it, so like you do it over 100 inches, and then you actually look down the tape, and you think, fuck, like this is amazing. It's really scary and quite upsetting as well. Like when you look at your parents and stuff like that, and seeing, you look down, you think, fucking hell. You know, you think, well, my nephew's all the way down there somewhere, and they've got all this to go. But if I don't get this right in these next couple of years, everyone is going to remember me as Cocaine Nathan.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing.
And that's so sad. So I had to, which is great because I'd already had my clean period anyway up to prison. I'd already been clean anyway, and I'm back in. So I was already back into my recovery. But that was just, being locked in a room for 23 hours a day, being locked up. Like
A lot of time to think about yourself.
it's a lot of time to do stuff. And if you don't get it right in prison, you got no chance. It's very easy to sit there and just smoke away, like people were doing, sitting there and drinking and smoking away. If you don't do the things, you knuckle down when you're there, because you can get it right. It's proven for me now. Like you can get it right there.
How do you deal with the shame of like people knowing about that?
I don't. I have to own it.
Yeah.
I have to own it,
Yeah.
and hence coming on here speaking about it, I could have quite easily dodged that. I can't. I don't want to do that. I'm trying. The whole point of me and what I do with regards to recovery and helping other people, and I'm very passionate about recovery. Really, am very passionate about it, and I have a good story, and have helped a lot of people and continue to help a lot of people. But I have to be real and I have to be honest with it, because this, and essentially, it is where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
It does take you there.
Well, how do you now then? Now that you've done those sort of two things out of the three, how are you going to prevent, or at least try to prevent, another relapse?
So I'm working very hard at the minute on a new project.
Yeah.
Social media is going to be a massive part of my life again, and I'm working on an outpatient program. I always wanted, and here's what I started doing through social media, always wanted to help as many people as I possibly could for as least, going to rehab, listen, private rehab costs a lot of money, okay? There's no two ways about it. It's a lot cheaper than a funeral.
Also, we've got this issue, and I've been emailed about this recently. Big rehab companies pay for SEO, right? So I've also been asked on TikTok.
As in optimization?
Yeah. To go to the top of the Google search.
It's a business.
It's a business.
It is a business, and this is the problem.
And I've also been asked to refer people to rehabs for $1,000. $1,000 a patient I could take.
Yeah, of course you can.
And I'm like, well, I don't know your rehab. I don't know what you do. And what's that?
So this is where what I'm doing. What we're doing now is, and listen, I haven't come on here to promote this at all. But however, it's very, very relevant, and I think it's going to it can help a lot of people. We have people on board with us, so therapists. We have GPs, so for prescribed meds and stuff like that. My whole thing on TikTok was to help as many people as I possibly can, and to date I've helped a lot of people for nothing. Okay. There has been. Don't get me wrong. People have paid me for things, but for my time before in the past, of course they have. Like they do for everything. People, I'm not being funny, but if people want, I had to give up my job at one point for social media. I couldn't work anymore because I was having so many people, and I couldn't do it. And I still had things to pay. Of course I did. So I got my qualifications in it. Don't get me wrong. So I then was approached when I come out of prison about, and it's a great concept. So it's an outpatient program which we're working on. It's it's a fraction of the cost of going to rehab. Ideally, what we want is to be able to help people go into a residential clinic and pay very next to nothing. Sorry. At the minute, you're looking at between sort of let's say £7,000 to £30,000 for a 28-day program to go into a residential rehab. That is extortionate. It does save lives, and it is, you know, it really does save lives, and it does work. And the proof, I think the proof is in the pudding. Okay, relapse is a part of things, but people do jump back onto their into their recovery. With the outpatient program, like I said earlier about removing an addict and putting them into a clinic and then giving them therapy and putting them back in again, that's when the hard work starts. With an outpatient program, it's of course a fraction of the price because you can do it from home, which is perfect. Because you're not being removed from your family, you're not being removed from your work. You can still work. No one else has to know that you're going through this, and it all fits around your life. So we're working on something at the minute, which we're looking to launch at the end of March, and it's really, really exciting. Got some great people on board. We've got some great therapists, some great GPs, and we're aiming to help a lot of people.
Do you worry about the lack of like community with that, you know, and like keeping it to yourself, that kind of thing?
How do you mean?
Like if you're saying it's something you do on your own at home?
No, so what there's an app as well.
Okay, fine.
So
Sorry, you didn't explain that.
Sorry, yeah. So there's an app. That's built into the online portal for each client, and they go on, and every single client from past and present is going to be on that, and that is going to be that's a community-based thing, all on your phone. The way we're going in the world now,
you've got to work with technology now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be here to stay.
You know, everything is going to be exactly the same program. In fact, you're getting more. Realistically, you're getting more because you're getting online, you're getting group meetings, you're getting one-to-one, you're getting the program itself, you're getting all the little bits added in as well. You're getting obviously the 24-hour support. It's a great concept, and that will work. It's every single thing. So what I've done is we've taken the therapy from an inpatient setting. We've taken all of that therapy. We've also taken, so the things that I've struggled with myself, I've added bits on that, and we've had them written up as well, and put that part of the program. So like relapse prevention and stuff like that, with things that I personally battled. So yeah, it's something to look out for, and it's something that I can't wait to get going because I know that it's going to work.
And how's that being funded?
At the minute, we're funding it.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no fun. Sadly, when it comes to like, although we have, so GPs, our GPs are through the NHS. They're people that wanted to come on board. As soon as we presented it to them, they wanted to come on board. Perfect. It's just what we wanted. Same with the therapy side, the therapist side of things. But for the time, at the minute, like it's been funded by ourselves. The website, the app.
Because an app's expensive.
Marketing, yes, it's not nothing's. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to understand. So you've come out of prison. How did you make money in all of this time that you were social media?
The money isn't coming from me directly, but from my partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Investors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fab.
Yeah.
Are you going to say the name or?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Online Rehab.
There you go.
Coming,
Check it out.
coming to you very,
This
very
will be
soon.
out.
So we'll be launching. We're aiming to be launching. Listen, we've been starting now. 8 weeks have we been running? We've been starting to building everything together for the last 8 weeks.
You've done an app in 8 weeks.
We've been. Hasn't it been so quick? We've got other people. We've got people designing stuff. Oh no, we've got website designers, app builders. Yeah, there are loads of people.
So this
involved.
person that approached you has money that came out of prison. Ah, okay. Got it. Okay, fine. Yeah.
So
8 weeks is mad.
It's massive, isn't it? It's going to be massive, and it's great. The biggest thing, listen.
Do you worry though? Just back to you. Like, do you worry like, if when whatever that flies, you get, you got success. Do you worry that you being the face of something like that?
No, because I'm not going to be the face of it.
Right.
I'm not being the face of it. We're not personally. We're not going to be giving this. We've got therapy. We've got people. We've got proper people doing this.
Promoting it and.
No, I don't. I think no. This is great. This is perfect for me. This is perfect for me. Yeah. The biggest thing, the same as when I started the TikTok, like when I first come out, I just want to help as many people as I possibly can. And I don't want people to experience things that I experience or put victims through what I put victims of addiction through. And it can be done, and I completely understand that. Paying to go to listen, people do not have money when it comes to the end of addiction. They've exhausted all avenues, and I'd love to be able to. And one day we will, when we have our own venue and our own clinic, we will be doing free stuff for people, won't we? Absolutely, we will be. It's such a shame when it comes down to money, but sadly it does.
Yeah, it does.
Because there's so much. Listen, I spent 18 years training my brain into thinking that cocaine was good for me and that cocaine was, helping me and all this sort of stuff. How the friggin' hell, without intensive therapy, you expect just to forget that?
Yeah.
We want to do the free, the talks and stuff like that. I want to go around to schools again. I want to do, and that will that will help with that sort of stuff. There's no one else out there doing that. There's no one else. People are very quick to go, pay, and not actually give the service or actually help. And we fit in there very well, and it's end of March, online rehab. Get clean. Thank you ever so much.
Thanks for being a Class A person.